Hey everybody, it's Jennifer with Get Your Credit Perfect Now, and in this video, what I want to do is talk to you about the 3 most common credit reporting errors that you will see on your credit report, or that usually is listed on individuals' credit report. So before I do that, what I wanted to do was just give you a little bit of background on what your rights are as a consumer. Most people are familiar with the Fair Credit Reporting Act. I'm sure you may have heard of it, or if you haven't, I'm just going to outline a little bit about how that works. Basically, the Fair Credit Reporting Act protects you as a consumer legally from inaccurate information being listed on your credit report. And not just inaccuracies, but also it mandates how the creditors and the credit reporting agencies are required to list information on your credit report. So what I like to do is kind of help people to think about, the credit restoration process as similar to how the legal justice system works. It's not a matter of whether or not someone is guilty of a particular crime. It's really about whether or not the attorney, the district attorney, the police officers, that type of thing, if they have followed the guidelines and the parameters of the law in terms of how they have pursued the arrest or processed the evidence, that type of thing. So, in the legal justice system, we may see somebody who is accused of a crime, but because the police officer didn't read them their rights, they may be released and not suffer the consequences of that particular charge. Well, the credit reporting process works similarly. It's not necessarily a matter of whether or not you owe the debt or you do not owe the debt. What is required is that the credit reporting agencies, as well as the creditors, follow legal guidelines in terms of how they report this information. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that the creditors and the credit reporting agencies have exactly 30 days in order to not only process any type of dispute on your credit profile, they also are required legally to list any account that is disputed as being in dispute on your actual credit report. In the event they do not list that particular account as being in dispute, they're actually out of compliance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which means they can actually be fined up to $1,000 per item per bureau. So with that, if you understand those type of rights as a consumer, you can actually force the credit reporting agencies and the creditors to update your credit profile and delete this information simply as a result of them not following the law. And that's how the credit repair process works, or the credit restoration process works. What you will find a lot of times is that if you go to your bank, or you go to a lot of banking agencies or organizations, you will hear from them information like, oh, there's no such thing as credit repair, they're not doing anything that you cannot do yourself. And that is true. You can do credit restoration yourself if you understand the law and you know how to approach it. However, there is such a thing as credit repair. There is such a thing as credit restoration. The banks do not want you to understand your rights because they directly benefit off of you having bad credit. When your credit is bad, they're able to charge you higher interest on the loans and the credit cards that you acquire from them. So they are vested in seeing you as a consumer have negative credit history. So I really want you to understand that. But what I want to do in this video, the intention is to kind of outline the 3 most common credit reporting errors, so that you can, when you are reviewing your credit report, you can look specifically for these items and make sure that the information listed is 100% accurate. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1, The most common, or one of the most common things that you will see on your credit report that is inaccurate is your account information. Now, if you were to review your particular accounts that are listed on your credit profile, you'll see that there is an account, there's the name of the creditor, there's the account number, there's the date that the account was opened, and the date of last activity, as well as the payment history. Now, when you are looking at your credit history on a particular account, you want to make sure that the account number is listed 100% correctly. You want to verify the date of last activity on that particular account. You want to verify the open date of that particular account, and you also want to verify that any lates that they have listed are listed on the correct months. They may have you as being late in December of 2018, when in actuality you were late in November of 2018. And that's something that can be disputed and get the item updated or deleted, or that negative or that delinquency deleted. So it's very, very important that you understand and look for inaccuracies in terms of how your account information is reported. The other most common item that you will see is, in terms of a credit reporting error, is going to be inaccurate personal information. And when I say personal information, I'm talking about your name, the spelling of your name, addresses listed on your credit profile that do not belong to you, phone numbers listed on your credit profile that don't belong to you, inaccurate date of birth, that type of thing, email addresses, anything along those lines that are listed on your credit report that are not tied to you can cause information to be placed on your credit profile that is not yours. What's very, very common is that people with similar names will get, you may get an address that gets put onto your credit report, and in doing so, if a creditor is wanting to report information to the credit bureaus, a lot of times they'll just enter in an address, they'll put a name and an address. They may not have your social security number, and they'll just reference it by that type of information. And the next thing you know, you have all types of information listed on your credit report that do not belong to you. So that's why it's very, very important to make sure that the information that's listed on your credit profile does belong to you and that it is 100% accurate. In the event that it is not accurate, you're going to want to get those items deleted. And generally speaking, what I recommend is to get any information that is obsolete deleted from your credit report, because it starts to tie you into accounts that you don't need to be tied into. Leave on your credit report your most recent address, your most recent phone number, your most recent email, all those things need to be recent information. That is also going to help keep your credit as clean as possible. And third, one of the most common credit reporting errors is fraudulent accounts. It is very, very common these days for individuals to be victims of identity theft. And this kind of piggybacks on, what I was just mentioning. You may be a person that has inaccurate items put on your credit report just because you have a name similar to someone else. Sometimes you may even have an individual that takes your information and opens up accounts in your name using your actual information. Those are inaccuracies that need to be recognized as soon as possible to keep your credit from getting destroyed as a consequence of individuals that have stolen your identity. So that's why I am a very, very big advocate of monitoring your credit on an ongoing basis. You need to know what is on your credit. You need to understand when there are changes made to your credit, when things have been deleted from your credit. A lot of people don't necessarily want to have, the expense of a credit monitoring service, because they have the opinion, hey, I'm not looking to buy a house, or I'm not purchasing a car anytime soon. I don't think I need it. But the reality is, you don't want to wait until the last minute when you are ready to do some type of transaction and find out that your identity has been stolen. It is advisable for you to keep on top of your credit on a monthly basis so you know exactly what's going on, so that when it comes time for you to be able to utilize it for whatever needs that you have, that you're ready. So that is something that I really want you to understand. One of the things that is included in our credit restoration services and our credit restoration membership is not only identity theft monitoring, which scans all public databases as well as social media to verify and to block individuals from assessing your identity. Also, it does include credit monitoring, ongoing credit monitoring, so that you can keep up with the status of your credit report, the items that are listed on your credit report, and your credit score with all three bureaus. So definitely something to keep in mind there. So that is all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please definitely like, comment, and subscribe, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.